Audu, Builder, and minions in the religions panel. We take refuge in God from the accursed Satan. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. May peace and blessings be upon Muhammad and his blessed family. May the peace and blessings of God be upon Muhammad and his blessed family. Dear brothers, wisdom is the treasure and the pearl that humanity has sought throughout history. So it is important to know the source of wisdom and how to obtain wisdom from divine words, from the words of the prophets, and from the words of those who have attained wisdom. Wisdom is the key to a peaceful life. It is the key to happiness. The wise person does not suffer. The wise person has a happy life. The wise person knows how to bring happiness to others. So there we will see hikmah, wisdom, the importance of hikmah, the importance of wisdom in human life. In the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 269, it says that God is the one who will indeed bestow wisdom upon whom He wills, meaning to those who are truly worthy of it. Whoever certainly deserves it, God will bestow it upon them. One of the gifts of the prophets to humanity is wisdom. The prophets taught wisdom, the happy life, and how to have a happy life. To us, to whom it has been given, God has given wisdom. That person has been granted all the great blessings. All the great blessings. Much blessing and much benefit, here and beyond. This means they will have happiness here and beyond. But only those who use their intellect realize this. Only intellectuals, the person who uses their mind, understands wisdom. Why? Because many people live an unhappy life. And every time they try to escape from one unhappiness, they end up falling into a worse situation. They want to get out of one sin of the curse, only to fall into another sin of the curse. Yes, for example, he has betrayed his partner out of morbid curiosity. And now he is sad because his partner has left him. Now he wants to relive that pain. He is going to get drunk. And now he is going to have an accident. It got worse. It doesn't mean that from a morbid life he fell into betrayal. From betrayal he fell into alcohol. From alcohol he falls into drugs. From drugs he falls into murder. From bad he falls into worse because he is a fool. Only intellectuals will see where we are headed. The human situation is worsening every day. The economy is going from bad to worse. What technology have they brought us? What blessing has it brought to the earth? Materialistic gentlemen, what blessing have you brought for us, the poor? Every day they are becoming poorer. Food is increasingly scarce, and war is escalating on the earth. Like you, from the moment you rejected God, from the moment you chose a materialistic life, you chose the path of the demon, lust, and all that you have brought to the earth. Worse still is the gender ideology that has brought us more war, more violence, more rape. And those who possess intellect use their intellect because, well, everyone has intellect, but not everyone uses it. There are people who have their intellect intact until the day of judgment. And I say, why have you not used it? No, I wanted to wear it like there are clothes that you keep intact. No, you don't touch it. Oh, I want to. Keep it new. The intellect is not like that. It doesn't matter if you have it new and have never used it. The intellect, when it is older and more used, is worth more. On the contrary, it is something spiritual. The more you use it, the more valuable it becomes. When the intellect is not used, it becomes empty. A person remains hollow. Their life lacks meaning. They do not have the philosophy of life. They do not know. They do not understand why they live. and this will turn them into a human animal. It means that the only thing that matters to him are animalistic desires, but he is a human being of two. He is a two-legged animal. And I tell you, why? Because the only thing that matters to him is the same thing that matters to a donkey. It is the same thing that matters to a pig. And unfortunately, in the West, materialists have defined human beings as animals that have the use of tools. How lamentable. Then God says, only those who possess intellect know the importance of wisdom. Jesus, peace be upon him, says, it is interesting that we have many words of wisdom from Jesus in our sources of narrations, lost words of Jesus that are not in the Bible, but we have them here. Jesus said, peace be upon him, in the Ekmatanuru Lekalve. Wisdom is the 2009 lamp in every heart. It means that when there is no lamp, there is darkness. In a heart where there is no wisdom, there is pure ignorance. Ignorance and fanaticism are darkness. Don't come with that. The dogma of faith is darkness. Jesus teaches us wisdom. Wisdom. Luqman, another prophet. Many say that Luqman was a prophet, while some say he was a wise, Afro-descendant, black, but very wise. It means that race and color will not distinguish you, will not give you privilege, nor will it harm you. He was a prophet of God, a wise man of whom the sacred Quran has a chapter named after Luqman. That great wise man was of African descent. He was poor. He was a black thousand. He was perfect. He was a man of God. That wise lawman who says to me, I advise you, my son, with the wise counsel I gave to you. O Bonnet, O my son, if you want to be a person of authority on earth, to be a noble person, nobility lies in wisdom. Seek wisdom throughout the land, 2001. For the path of wisdom leads you towards spirituality. The path of wisdom leads you towards the true religion of God. Even if you are a slave, back then slavery was rampant. It was an Afro-descendant. Even if you are a slave with wisdom, you can surpass a foolish free person. If you are poor with wisdom, you can surpass a rich, ignorant person. If you are younger than someone else, but with wisdom, you will surpass all the great ones in everything, great in fame, in power, in wealth, in all. You with the wisdoms, that is, when you unite yourself with wisdoms, you will surpass the whole world. Did the messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, say, do you want to know how much it is worth to go listen to a class from a sheikh who explains a law from the sacred Quran, a narration from the Prophet of Islam? How much is that class worth? The messenger of God explains to you that a word of wisdom, kalimatul hikmah, is heard by a believer and is worth more than worshipping God for an entire year. If you go to the mosque on January 1st and start praying until the end of December, you are in the mosque praying, praying, praying. How much is it worth? How great is the reward for this deed? 1 hour of listening to wisdom is worth more than an entire year of worshipping God. 1 hour, 1 hour. Here you are sitting, listening, learning words of wisdom is worth more than an entire year praying in the mosque. The messenger of God, may peace and blessings be upon him, when speaking of the wise, says that the wise are the closest to God, as close as to be a prophet, even though they will not be a prophet, but they are close enough to be one. The closest to the prophets are the wise who use their intellect. They understand the wisdom of the messages of the prophets. That is why those who are closest to the prophets are the ones who utilize the inner prophet, the intellect. From mobility to Instagram, Raul from Tuyoro Calabrasi. Wisdom is the beautiful garden. the beautiful garden of intellectuals. Juana Saturno Balo stops. It is like the place where they go to have fun. Wisdom. When the wise hear words of wisdom, brings them joy. What does the Imam say about wisdom? Where does it come from? Where does it reside? Where is the result of wisdom? It says wisdom is a tree that grows from the pure heart. The heart. Once you have detached from the heart of sin, wisdom begins to grow in your heart and its fruits will come to your mouth. The root comes from the heart, purifies the heart. Wisdom will grow in your heart and the fruits will come through your mouth. Emma Bayarit Samsung, Manuel Belgimate, Bilagimate, nothing. Beleba Cordoba, the heavy. The person whom everyone sees, the wisdom in that person, 2009, everyone will respect him. They will admire him, for the words of wisdom they hear from that person. Imam Ali said that wisdom is the lost jewel of the believers, and that a believer should always seek wisdom wherever they are on earth. Seek the word of wisdom, even if it is held by a mushrik, a polytheist. That person knows something of wisdom, so learn it, because you as a believer deserve it. Even if they are an unbeliever, learn it, learn it. In another narration from Imam Ali, it is said that wisdom is the lost jewel of the believers. Fayudelegimate ovalo, homage. Learn, absorb wisdom, even if that person is a hypocrite. Learn wisdom from everyone, from whoever it may be. Imam, peace be upon him, indeed says, he is certainly not a wise person. Who asks their request? Of a person who is not generous. It has a request. If you ask a vile person, one with spiritual lowliness, a person we can say is inferior, with an inferiority complex, do not present your requests to that person because they will humiliate you. A person who has wisdom will never ask for their needs from someone who is not generous. Very interesting. The island Haikibo Manliodor the mall Yadi do beat bot than my mother. The person who doesn't tolerate intolerant is not wise. Very wise is that word. The person who does not tolerate the intolerant is not wise. Fanatics. If you do not deal with fanatics with tolerance, you are not wise. If you treat the fanatic with the same harshness and intolerance as you treat intolerant people, you are not wise. It is a test for us, each one of us. To what extent we are wise? Do you interpret it? What is wisdom? And the last is the death of the fanatics. The first lesson of wisdom is to abandon desires. What does desire mean? Haram. What you desire, what you like about sin, abandon it. This is the first lesson of wisdom. And the last, detach yourself from all that is worldly, from all that is temporary. Do not place your trust in the temporary. Place your trust in God, and your eyes will be open to see things as they are. You will become wise. Imam al-Islam says that wisdom is not to argue with someone who is superior to you. There are people who are truly crazy. They go to argue with the boss, with I don't know, with their father, with the teacher, with anyone who is in a superior position. They will argue and fight with them and end up losing their positions. And do not humiliate the person who is inferior to you. The wise approach is not to humiliate your family, your partner, your child, or your employee. Do not humiliate them. If you humiliate them, you are a fool. The wise person respects those who are beneath them and does not rebel against their superiors. He is respectful towards his superior and humble towards his inferior. Respect your superiors, show humility towards those below you, and do not seek rivalry with someone who is not your rival, whom you do not have the power to surpass. For example, there is a muscular big person on the street. Do not insult him. There are people who will fight with everyone, and that person knows that if they want to hit you, they will finish you off. There is no need to fight against this. And there are crazy people who fight with everyone. This is madness. When you see that person or 10 people, you cannot confront them. Wisdom says, do not go and fight against them. It is said that wisdom is when your tongue does not contradict what is in your heart. Do not be a hypocrite. Your words should not contradict your actions, and your actions should not contradict your words. Attack on the Nafiola Tala. The wisdom is that if you do not know something, do not say it. Do not miss opportunities when there is a chance to take advantage of, and when you lose the opportunity, you start to cry over the loss of that opportunity. 2009, that is not wisdom. We have to pay for the hall, says Bokats to Wabu Bashir in the colon, the Maniota Luchea. Casa. When Imam al-Bakr was asked who, Abu Basir, the old blind man, that blessed believer Abu Basir asked Imam al-Bakr what that meaning is. What does the sacred Quran say about those who have been given wisdom? It is the great blessing. The Imam says, you know that great wisdom is the obedience to the Lord and the recognition of the Imam of your time. May you know who the Imam of your time is, and may you not be ignorant. Imam al-Sauda said, the deepest wisdom is to thoroughly understand the teachings of your religion. Whoever is a deep jurist in Islamic jurisprudence is indeed the wisest. This is the person who makes every effort to understand all the details of wisdom in the religion. This is the true wise one. Imam al-Qadim was asked the African prophet Luqman, what is the summary of all your wisdom? What was the summary of all the wisdom of that wise man? God, that wise word, is just that. I will not ask for what I do not need, what has been given to me. I will not ask for more. It means I have no greed. I am not going to ask for more than I need. I will not ask for what God has given me, and I will not involve myself in what does not concern me. I do not ask for what I do not need. What God has given me, I will not ask for more. If you have a wife, very well, thank God you no longer need to seek sex on the street. Don't ask for what God has already given you. Do you understand? You have your daily bread. You have all of that. Do not beg for what God has given you. No, seek to satisfy your greed, and do not meddle in what does not concern you. There are, for example, extra things in life. The truth is that they do not matter to you if you cannot serve them in your life, neither here nor beyond. For example, there are people who argue about football. What importance does it have? Oh no, they won the World Cup. Well, what does it matter? It's exactly the issue of not getting involved in what doesn't concern you. How is it going to help you? They are going to fight. They are even going to hit each other over the red, yellow, I don't know, white, I don't know what football. They start arguing over something so useless, so absurd, 2009, who wins the football. What do I care? What do I care? Once you go to have fun, to watch football, well, you will have fun. But then coming back to fight, they are winning. the cup. They are benefiting. And what about you? Nothing. You just end up with that nervousness. And then fighting with your brother over nothing, he is one of the crazy ones. So, 2 words. Do not ask for what you do not need. Do not get involved in what does not concern you. Those are words of wisdom. The messenger of God, may peace and blessings be upon him, said that the head, or rather, the root of all wisdom is to have the fear of God present only for God. Look, many times, why do we fall into so much foolishness? Because of fear. Fear of this, fear of that, fear of that. In the Holy Quran, it indeed says that Satan manages and controls his followers through fear, as it is written. It scares you. It threatens you. You obey it. You are going to end up poor. You are going to lose that opportunity, and this provokes you and will lead you to temptations. Most sins, more than lust, are due to fear. Why do you steal? I am afraid that I will be poor tomorrow. Why are you abusing? I am afraid that I will lose it tomorrow. I am afraid I have fear of what is not God. Fear of poverty. Fear of this. Then the demon wants to manipulate you through fear. And then the messenger of God says that the essence of wisdom is to have the fear of God in your heart. The only fear, the only one that matters to me, is God. The others, it doesn't matter why he does it, out of fear of God, out of dread, out of respect, or out of that piety. What matters to me is God, the messenger of God. Blessed. In Ashraf al-Hadith of the Quran, the most worthy word among all words is to glorify God, to mention God, to speak of God. The cause, or the head, or the root of wisdom is to obey God. Because on that path, you will reach perfection, and the wise one who seeks their perfection seeks happiness. So the cause, the head, the root of wisdom is obedience to the Lord. In another narration, what indeed assists you in receiving wisdom is controlling your lust. Your wisdom increases and becomes perfected. It is only a matter of containing your lust, containing your anger, containing your emotion. Control your emotion, and wisdom will grow within you. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, says that wisdom is only attained by distancing oneself from sins. Ezma means to completely distance oneself from sins. Without that, you cannot. It means that when you commit a sin, you need a certain percentage of stupidity. Why? Because only a fool can harm themselves, and all sins are harmful. With every sin, you are harming yourself. You are depriving yourself of happiness both in this life and the hereafter. We have legalized my messages from New Folby. The person who is going to detach love from the mundane in their heart will have a life in truth of abstinence from the worldly. Abstinence does not mean you should not have a normal life or that you should not have attachment to the mundane. God will establish wisdom in his heart, and that will come forth from his tongue as he begins to speak of wisdom with his words. What prevents wisdom? The messenger of God, may peace and blessings be upon him, said that the heart receives wisdom. When the stomach is completely empty and devoid of food, the heart tends to reject wisdom and sound judgment, especially when it is not nourished. When the stomach is full of food, it empties. The heart receives wisdom. You fill the stomach, and it goes to the heart of wisdom. Fasting is the key to wisdom. Muhammad says, you cannot combine carnal desire, lust, and love of lust in your heart along with wisdom. That love, which we can say is sin, enters your heart, and wisdom departs from your heart. Imam al-Sadr says that anger is the ruin of wisdom from the heart of the wise. That is to say, when you allow anger to dominate you, wisdom is lost. And whoever is not afraid has no sense. The person who does not have mastery does not have the power to control their anger. They do not control their intellect. We have emphasized medicines in Nazarayam Botofesable or Alayambo of the Safa. To Kataliak Matamoros, prosecutor of Belemotear or the prosecutor of Belemotaka, ready loy. You go to nature, you will see where the land is lower, it received more water and is greener. It grew plants because the land is humble. It received water where the land is very, very high, where water does not reach, a point where water cannot stay because it is high. Nothing grows there. Thus, at the point of a mountain, up high where there is no water, in the desert, this is more evident because it does not rain at that point, and where water accumulates is what is lowest. The same example states that the heart of a proud person does not receive wisdom, because the key to wisdom is humility. Because a proud person says, I know everything, they are a total ignoramus and claim to know everything while refusing to learn, because the key to learning is humility. When you do not have humility before the teacher, you will never learn, because you first need to understand that the teacher knows more than you do, and you need to be calm while the teacher explains everything to you. Therefore, humility is the key to wisdom. Because God has placed humility as a tool of intellect. Imam al-Hadi, the 10th Imam, states that wisdom cannot reside in corrupt, vicious, or perverted individuals. They cannot possess wisdom, and one cannot trust their word. The fruits of wisdom. Imam alayhi salam says that a person whom God will establish wisdom in their heart will understand the consequences of everything. They will understand it well, so they will not make mistakes, because they think about the consequences. Imam Sada al-Islam said, studying a lot and observing much in the words of the wise will increase your intellect. Your intellect will be fertilized. When you immerse yourself in the words of the wise, wisdom, you listen, you read Nahjul Balagha, you read the Quran, they are pure wisdom. You must always say that probing into wisdom will make your intellect begin to bear fruit. For example, I always listen to the Quran when I am working, when I am in the car and everything. I listen to the Quran, listen to narrations. This will make your intellect begin to bear fruit. How to protect wisdom, Imam al-Islam says. Some wise individuals corrupted wisdom when they cast pearls before swine. My God. It says when they entrusted the word of wisdom to inappropriate people. In Spanish, it says not to cast pearls before swine. When you cast pearls before swine, you have squandered the pearls. You have destroyed the pearls of wisdom. Imam al-Qaeda says, do not trust the ignorant fanatics. Do not teach the word of wisdom to them, because they will destroy the words of wisdom. Do you know why? Because everyone says that person knows wisdom, but their practice contradicts this, because they are ignorant, they are lustful, and they will destroy the image of the wise. However, a person who seeks that wisdom will know the purity in that person. Do not call it prohibiting wisdom. Teach them all the wisdom, for you are not oppressing that person who deserves to have wisdom. Well, inshallah, we ask the Most High to open our hearts with wisdom, to help us with the purity of heart, so that our hearts may become like the house of wisdom. 2001 threads, fruits of wisdom, may there be much wisdom, inshallah. All dear brothers, con mucha sabiduría, wassalam alaikum of God.